This week, we have had a busy week in Kenya where somebody allegedly was arrested and driven over 400 kilometers and later found to have died in police custody. And the debate around this is basically Article 49 of our Constitution. And it gives the basic requirements of what is supposed to happen. This is every officer, every person in this country needs to understand this. Now, when you're arrested, our constitution requires that one, you be informed promptly, as in right then, promptly, the reason for your arrest. They're supposed to tell you in a language you understand why they're arresting you. They're also supposed to inform you of your right to remain silent and also of the consequences of not remaining silent. Secondly, you have the right to remain silent. As in, they have arrested you, they have told you why they're arresting you, just keep quiet. So it's up to them to do the investigations and all that and all that. You also have a right to communicate with your advocate or somebody who will be whose help or assistance is necessary in the process. So again, this idea of being arrested and then you're not allowed to speak with your friends, your family, is illegal. And I think some police officers might be living in the old constitutional dispensation where they would do whatever they want to, but our constitution compels and demands that they allow you to speak to an advocate or a person whose assistance is necessary. Number two, the Constitution does not give them any right to compel you to confess or admit to something that could be used in evidence against you. They are not allowed to force you to incriminate yourself. That's the right against self-incrimination. It's up to them to carry out investigations and present the evidence that you have. Now, you have a right, once arrested, to be held separately from persons who are serving a sentence. Remember, in Kenya, you're innocent until proven guilty, and you can only be proven guilty by a competent court of law. So unless you've gone to a court and you have been charged and convicted, you're not supposed to be held together with people who are serving a sentence. Now, you also have a right to be brought before a court as soon as possible, but not later than 24 hours. But the catch is that sometimes they arrest you when with the next 24 hours fall outside the normal court working hours or a court day. So if they arrest you on a Friday evening, the next court date is Monday morning, you're supposed to be presented in court. Or probably it's a public holiday. If they arrest you on a public holiday, the next day, which is the day after the public holiday, you're supposed to be presented in court. Now, when you're presented in court, at your first court appearance, three things are supposed to happen. One, they should formally charge you. That is where they charge you, and then you take a plea of not guilty or guilty. Two, if they are continuing to detain you, they're supposed to give the reason in court as why they want to continue, and they have to convince the court to allow them for you to remain in court for longer than the time they have. And thirdly, they could release you. So if they are not charging you, if they are not detaining you longer, they're supposed to release you. Now remember, pending trial or the police actually, when they arrest you, they can also, you have a right to be released on reasonable bond and bail conditions, pending trial, or also when you, once the trial starts, you could also be released on bond, so that you operate or you continue the normal working life as you wait for the justice system to make its decision. And finally, if the offense they're arresting you for is an offense which, if found guilty, you can only be imprisoned for 6 months, or if it's a crime that is only punishable by a fine, you're not supposed to be detained. So if there are these minor offenses that you can only be jailed for 6 months, or if it's an offense that the only punishment is a fine, you cannot be remanded in custody for such an offense. So I think these are the basic things that every Kenyan needs to know, and you teach yourself, so that whenever people appear from nowhere, you know your rights and you know what to say, what not to say, and what to demand.